All right, guys, I got this thing out of the truck, and we are going to go through and rebuild it. So I'm not changing the gear set on this setup. We're just doing bearings, and then obviously we're rebuilding the limited slip, because that is what we're doing in this video. So something right from the get-go, usually I degrease them. I've already washed this once. I am going to wash it again before we put it together. But what I wanted to mention, I'm going to take it apart, show you some bits and pieces inside. But something that I wanted to do, I wanted to show you. You see where I've marked this? I just took a number stamp. I'll probably put a link in the description for you guys that are interested. Number stamp and letter stamps. The old Amazon. I just marked it. Doesn't matter how you mark it. I just used a 1 and a 1 so that that lines up, because that has to line up, because this only goes one way. So if you quickly just mark it, you could center dot it. You could do it different ways. You could use, the thing with paint marker is as soon as you clean it, now the paint marker's gone. Not that I don't like paint markers. I always have a paint marker around, but if you mark it, then you don't have to worry about it coming off. So we're going to pull this thing apart, and it is super easy to take apart. Just take these bolts out. So let's take the bolts out. Now I'm putting this in my parts washer, but you should clean it when you have this apart. So these things are pretty simple. So pull it apart. And if you're going to be reusing, if you're just taking it apart to inspect, kind of pay attention to which pieces went where and all that stuff. Obviously for me it doesn't matter, because I am rebuilding everything. I have a kit right here to put it together, but as you can see, these things are roasted. There ain't nothing left. So I'll show you the new ones here in a minute. But these ones are roasted. So we'll get this all out. And basically how this works, it's very simple when it really comes down to it. So there's those clutches, well, supposed to be clutches, that are splined on here. And when you add torsional force to it, basically what it wants to do is, get this out of here. Basically what it does is it takes these, and these are ramps, right? It ramps and it tries to climb these surfaces. So this ramp tries to climb, it tries to climb this ramp on both sides. So basically it's trying to take, when you get on the throttle, basically what it does is it tries to take these two pieces and shove them apart. And the more power you put at it, the harder it shoves. Now obviously this one had, I don't know, somebody had like just melt. I don't think I've ever seen one like this, to be totally honest with you. Like even these side plates and all that stuff are just hammered on it. But anyway, it's rebuildable, so it doesn't matter. And then also we're upgrading the, and there's clutches on both sides. We're upgrading this also as well to a 35 spline from a 32. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to put you guys on hold for a minute. I'm going to clean just so there's a little tiny bit of rust. I'm just going to buff that off quick. I'm going to throw this in the parts washer for a few minutes, and then we'll be back. Okay guys, I am going to talk loud because I have the parts washer going and it's like a torrential downpour outside. And I want to close the door because it was hot out today. I want the cool air to come in. So, you'll just have to bear with the noise. So, and if you guys work in shops and stuff, if you can't take the noise in, well, I don't know what to tell you. So, this is it's a Yukon rebuild kit for this. Now, I am upgrading this to a 35 spline from a 32. The old fender banger. So this is the 32, this is the 35, and you can see there's a pretty good size difference. So this is what we're going to. We don't need that old junk anymore. We don't need that little stuff. So everything's packaged really nice. One thing with Yukon is they are very good at that, in my opinion. Getting everything packaged up properly and all that stuff. Let me get the garbage here. I'm gonna just put you guys up. So something I do recommend, and I would normally do it, but being this diff is gonna be apart for a while, I am not gonna do it, but I would normally do it, is I recommend soaking these plates in gear oil and a little bit of this limited slip additive. But being this is gonna be apart for a while, I'm not going to, because it makes a mess. What I'm gonna do is, because it's gonna be sitting apart, I'll fill the diff up, it'll sit with oil in it, you rotate it around, move it around a little bit before it gets driven, and it'll soak into the clutches, no big deal. But I do recommend, if you guys are doing this, please, please, please soak these clutches. So, and then when you get into the actual, the way that it's designed, if you look at the way that the gear goes together, see the Belleville plate? I call them Belleville springs, but Belleville plate technically, I guess. You want to make sure that you have them facing the right way. So obviously read your instructions and then put it together. So we're just going to set all this out how we need to have it set out. So we can put this thing together. That on the right way would help. Okay, this old chunk out of the way. Yeah, so I wanted to show that too. So that's what it's supposed to look like, and this is what the old one was like, right? So give you an idea. All right, so this, and also too, like this one was hammered. I don't know if I've ever seen one this bad before. Like, you see where it's wore a groove in there? There's a chunk missing, and that's what it's supposed to look like. It's bad. So anyways, side gear. You want to line these tabs up if you can, because it will help you in the long run. Not at the end of the world. If you don't, yeah, just making sure I put it the right way, and I definitely did. Make sure you put them the right way. I did not have it the right way. I'm busy talking to you guys. Dish up. And line your tabs back up. Now I'm going to, actually this is for you guys who are in Canada. I found these guys on the old interwebs. If you're looking for rear end parts, check these guys out. Check those guys out. They have a bunch of stuff, and actually really good pricing too. So, like I said, check them out. If you're looking for parts and you're in Canada, I would imagine they probably ship to the States too, but I just know it's a Canadian company, so I don't know how much they do shipping to the US. But even if you guys in the US, check them out. And I am not sponsored by them or anything. I just bought it off eBay, off their eBay store. So fast shipping, price was good, everything was good. Okay, I'm gonna go over and pull that out of the wash, get it dried off. Okay guys, I got the center section out of the washer. I have decided I'm going to put a couple drops of this limited slip additive to each one of these clutches. I don't want a bunch on there so it drips out on me, just for the reasons that I was talking about. But I was thinking about it, I was like, man, I better put something. So I'm just going to put a drop of it on each one, or a couple drops on each side, just so that it's not dry, because these are going to be flattened out. So they're not dry just to start with, and because I don't want to screw stuff up, right? So just, and this stuff stinks too. Could make it smell like bubble gum or something. That'd be cool. Anyways. Oh no. Go through there. That might be a problem. We might have a problem, boys. Hold on, let me go get the axe. Oh, it does. Okay. False alarm. This is the axe that we're using. It's beefy. 35 spline, 4130, made by Dutchman Axles. Made by Dutchman Axles, not sponsored. I paid full pop. All right.
Just thought I'd better stop and explain. I'm just trying to get both of the clutches splined in. Want to make sure you get them engaged properly.
Oh, she's grippy already, and it hasn't even done anything yet. So now we're going to put the cross in, and you have to make sure you line up those ramps that we were talking about earlier. Have to go down on one, like they have to line up with the ramp, with the actual ramp hole. I don't know if you could actually, I guess you could flip it upside down and it'd be screwed up. I don't know, I've never tried to put it together like that. So now we were going to stack the other side and then put that on. So, because I want to see what I should do. Like I said, just so there's some lube on there. I got thinking about it, and dry ain't good in any situation. That's why a lot of people don't have girlfriends. If you get it, you get it. For you girls, you get it. So now all we gotta do is find our number 1 mark and line up our other number 1 mark. Because the last time I marked it and I had already taken it apart like an idiot and didn't have it marked properly. But we need to get those lined up. And we got them lined up. So now bolts, 45 foot-pounds. I'm going to tighten them down with the impact gun to start with, and then we'll torque them. I just put a little bit of ARP lube on the actual bolts myself personally. You can use oil, whatever. I shouldn't say I always use ARP lube. I don't always use ARP lube, but it just happened to be sitting right there, and it is a good lubricant for bolts. So we are going to use that because I buy it in big jugs. Actually, for you guys that are interested, I'll put a link in the description. I've had people ask about that. I'll put a link in the description for this stuff. If you are so inclined to want some in a big jug. It is nice to have, especially if you're monkeying around with doing a lot of ARP stuff, doing the engine rebuilding course, anything like that. It's nice to have. So let's turn this gun down. All right, let's torque this thing. Torquey. 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 That is something too that you want to make sure you do, is make sure you go around 2 or 3 times. Technically you'll probably over torque them, but I can guarantee you that if you don't, it'll come loose. So literally just keep going around until they stop moving. Because like I said, if you don't, it'll end up turning in for a bad day for you when one of those bolts comes out and it just saws your new diff in half. Is I take the paint marker and I actually mark paint marker. Hold on, I gotta get the paint marker juiced up. is I mark them and I let it sit, obviously till it's dry before you put it back in. And they won't, the paint marks tend not to come off of the oil. But then if you do a diff service on it and one of those isn't in the right spot, you know that it's come loose and you should remedy it. So that is literally all there is to it. Something that you do want to do that I did off camera is just visually inspect inside, make sure there's no wear, no cracks, your bolts are good, all that type of stuff. Really, other than that, they're very simple to do. I know lots of people, I couldn't find a video talking about it, so I thought I'd do a video. This is for a Dana 70. Dana 60 and Dana 70 are the same. They fit all kinds of stuff, but that is not the right box for that. Yep, it is definitely not the right box for that. I'll put a link in the description for the part number of it. They must have changed the box for some reason. But I'll put a link in the description for the, or a part number at the very least if I can't find a link. So that is rebuilding your power lock. Hopefully that helps a guy out. Just make sure you know which axle spline you have, whether it's 35 or 32. And then obviously if you're running something other than a Dodge truck, there is a couple different other options, but they're very similar. So hopefully that helps a guy out. Like, subscribe, hit me down in the comments, and remember, it's not rocket science. If you're dumb, you better be tough.
Hey guys, check out the merch store, cutteruprob.com, link in the description, for all the new merch that I just dropped. Help out the channel.